Howdy, my advertising assignment is over food advertisement. So I decided to do the Taste from the Top Down, which is the wine trials by Goldstein and Hershkowitz. And then there's my reference. So in the wine trials, the authors wanted to test how knowing the price of a food slash drink item affected how liked the item was. So they decided to do a blind test on a group of people with cheap and expensive wine. They hypothesized that if they said that whatever that drink that they were giving them was a more expensive wine, that it would be more liked than the cheaper wine. The way they decided to do their experiment was by using 3 different wines. One was an expensive, one was a cheap, and then they also had a control. So they decided to have 5 different drinks, and so they showed the expensive and cheap wine twice and showed the control once. So when they showed the expensive wine, the first time they said it was expensive, and then the second time they said it was cheap. And then for the cheap wine, the first time they said it was cheap, and then the second time they said it was expensive. So whenever the people would drink it, they'd be drinking the expensive wine, but the first time they would think it was expensive, and the second time they would think it's cheap. So they did this for both the expensive and cheap wines and found that when told that it was a more expensive wine, regardless if it was a cheap wine or an expensive wine, the people liked it more when said it was expensive. Overall, they found that a person's subconscious alters someone's thinking if it's told to be a more expensive food item or drink item, regardless of how it actually tastes. My ad is a Donovan's ad, and in the ad, they're talking about how it's a nice restaurant and that they'll be in the very best quality and whatever comes from the restaurant is the very best. When someone looks at this ad, they're automatically going to think that the food is the best there will be. That regardless if it's poor food, that since it's an expensive restaurant, it will be great food. I feel that a way that we could test my analysis is if we gave them McDonald's when they came to the restaurant, and McDonald's is a lower quality food than they serve at Donovan's. But if we put Donovan's name on it, then people will automatically love the food. Thanks and gig 'em.